This is video 7.2 and the goal here is to talk about slope and finding slope of a line. So first of all, what is slope? So you should have learned in your classes that slope is defined as the growth. That's the word we've been using for a while. But a new way that we're talking about it is the rise over the run. Because that's how we describe growth. How much is it rising every time we go over? Every time we run over. Another way that we've talked about it is this new way, delta y, not x, excuse me, erase that, delta y over delta x. And delta y and delta x are really looking at what we call this delta is usually talked about change. So we're looking at the change in y. We're looking at how much y went up, of course, because that's rise. How much did we go up? And then delta x means the change in x. So we're looking at how far we went over, the run. So that's what delta y and delta x are. That's a very sophisticated math way of talking about slope. And that triangle, delta is called, it's used a lot in higher level math, talk about change. So it'll pop up over and over again throughout the rest of your math career. So now let's take a look at finding the slope. So we know that we're looking for the change in y and the change in x, how much it went up and over, or maybe down. So we're going to do the first two problems together, and then you'll try the rest on your own. So we're talking about how this changed. So in order to talk about the change, we have to look at where are we starting and where are we going. So we see these two key points here, and we're going to look for the change. And the way we'll see change is we're going to walk to the line. So I'm going to start with the point on the left here. I'll call it L so you can see what point I'm starting with. And I'm going to follow and I'm going to walk to the other line by going down and then over. I'm always following the grid line. So I'm looking for the change in y, and that's going to be how far down I went in this case. And it looks like I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The change in y is 7 because I went down 7. Now I look for the change in x. It looks like from here I'm going to go to the right and I'm going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from here to here, the change in x was 9. I walked 9 boxes. So my change in y is 7 and my change in x is 9. So my slope, if I memorize this one thing, I see that my slope is 7 over 9. But there's one thing that I'm missing here. This line is going down. Do you see? Can you see how it's going down? As I walk the line from left to right, it's going in the downward direction. And so the slope is actually negative 7 over 9. So that's a key thing. You got to think about whether the slope is positive or negative. In this case, it's negative 7 over 9. And that is the slope of the line. So now I'm going to look at the next one. Again, I want to think about, is it positive or negative? I'm typically going to recommend you do that first. So let's see, from the left to the right, it looks like the line is going up and over. So this is a positive slope. Now I'm going to be looking for the delta y and the delta x, change in y and change in x. So I'm going to walk the line, and I'm going to see that I walk up 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 boxes up, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my change in y is 4, and my change in x is 6. That's my rise and my run. Now you will see a lot of times us simplifying this. And remember, to simplify fractions, we divide top and bottom by an equivalent number. In this case, I can divide top and bottom by 2 and get 2 over 3. 2/3 is an equivalent fraction to 4/6. Both of these answers are correct, these fractions that I wrote here, but the more proper answer is going to be 2/3. So typically you want to try and simplify. It's good practice, and we'll get more into fractions by the end of the year. So your job is to find the slope. I want you to think carefully, is the slope positive or negative? So we're looking if it's going down or if it's going up, so we can decide if it's positive or negative. So take a look at 3 and 4. Are those slopes positive or negative? Are they going up or down? And in this case, those lines are both going down. So they're both negative slopes. So they'll both be negative slopes. So find that rise and run, and you've got your answer. So good luck, do your best, ask lots of questions if you get stuck or need help.